Howdy, Possum Patty, and the entire Saki Bottom bunch here. Yes, I was just fixing the bird clock. So hopefully when the morning dove sings, it will sound like the morning dove. Well, I was sitting here at the table and my sister called. So while I was talking to her, yeah, I did some journaling on my apple pie giant journaling card. So I'm going to show that to you. And then remember in yesterday's video, I said I was going to make a little felt apple. So I got it ready. I want to put some stitches on it. And I have another idea, yes, to finish it off. I might or might not do it. Let's see what you think. So come on along. Well, now, if you missed me making this journaling card, I will link that video below. But I am journaling about making the perfect apple pie, which is the name of a recipe from the Better Homes and Garden new cookbook that was published back in the 1970s. Yes. So I put together this whole fabric and stitched and scrapbook paper journaling card. I'll show you the page in a moment if you haven't seen it. And I journaled October 29th, 2024. I've used this recipe for the perfect apple pie from Better Homes and Garden new cookbook since the 1970s. Simple and yummy. Perfect apple pie. And on this side, I added a picture of the pie and a slice that I had with nice and warm with vanilla ice cream on this side. Sorry if it's glare. And I picked a piece of brown paper from the Fall Orchard pack. You know, it has some reds and greens and browns and tans. I thought this went well. Matched the crust of the pie. October 29th, 2024. We picked a big bag of Cortland apples at Bishop's Orchards. I cut them up and put them in a pie made with gluten-free crust from the Maine Pie Company. I served myself a warm slice with vanilla ice cream. Now you might remember these stickers I was working with, and I pulled off a couple hearts and put them there because I had a little bit of a space. And I was thinking about which other baking ones to use, and I'm not really sure, but I might put some on the pocket, but we'll get to that in a moment. Maybe I Love Baking and the mint, I don't know, something like that. But right now, the only thing I need to do to finish this card is to put some slow stitches on my cute little apple. Ta-da! I love it. I love it. Well, I was loving this yesterday. I wasn't quite sure when I started. I did a bit of engineering here, but I like the way it came out. Yes. A lot of work goes into this one for sure. So I'm going to put an apple right there. And I decided to make my own felt apple. And I got out all these scraps of felt. I got the red, the brown for the stem, some greens for a leaf, but then I decided to use this polka dotted one for the leaf. For some reason, I like that one. And that came from this little pack right here. Now, all my felt, I got a whole big bag of it. All this felt is from the Dollar Tree. I did a big felt haul one day, and there were these little sets. I like the ones with the polka dots. And then there were these bigger sets. And then there were these big giant pieces. These are really soft. I use that for stuffing, I think. And then there were these stiffer felt sheets, all different colors. So I got all different kinds of felt in here. Oh, here's a dark green. I'm just looking for a dark green. I didn't see a dark green. Oh, that's okay. I like the polka dotted leaf. I'm going to leave that. Okay. See, I should have pulled them all out and looked at them. No problem, no problem. I think these polka dotted ones are really cute. So I'm going to put these back in here. I used a bit of this felt to make that sketch and stitch journal. And now I'm thinking about cutting up pieces of felt like this, right? And add some felt pieces in with my sketches. I was inspired by Lizzie Brewer and her little woolen season books, which are adorable. I love them. Let's see. I want to put some stitches on here, and I have regular floss. I was thinking about putting a little highlight on the apple, maybe with this sort of white silver gray, or white, maybe the white silver gray. And then I have this fake embroidery floss, is the kind you make the bracelets with. And I was thinking about putting a couple stitches around. When I have brown, I can put some stitches on the stem. And I have green if I want to put some stitches on the leaf. But I also have gold. This is a really nice gold thread. So, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to use the colors, not the gold. Because I really didn't put any gold on this page. Oh, there's gold on this side. There's gold on this side. But not on this side. I think I'm going to hold off on the gold and start with this and see how it looks. Oh, where's my needle? Where's my needle? Nothing is very far away. I just had this out the other day, right? There's pink thread in here. I was doing something with pink thread. So let me pull that out and wind this up somewhere. I'll put it here for now. Got a bunch of spare thread in there. I don't want to waste that. I've got my magnet here. Use a refrigerator magnet. You just put it down next to you like that, and it minds your needle for you. I've got my needle threader. And take a piece of this rich red, I think. We're going to use the rich red. And just put some stitches in this. Now, slow stitching is sort of like embroidery. It's sewing by hand. But you don't have to make a pre-drawn out pattern. You don't have to use any fancy stitches. You basically just sew. Let me move that out of the way. A lot of stuff on the table. And I think I'm just going to start there. And it can be very wonky or very neat, depending on your personality. I put a little glue to hold that leaf on there. So that's a little tough to go through, but that's okay. Don't want to go too close to the edge. So slow stitching is to embroidery the way that junk journaling is to scrapbooking, right? That's my analysis, right? It's just a much freer, fun, no rules, do what you want way of sewing. See, for embroidery, I might have taken a pen and drawn little stitch lines around the edge so that all my stitches came out even and perfect. But with slow stitching, you want it to have more of a slightly wonky, handmade, homemade, precious look to it. Yes, I'm going to call it precious. I'm going to call it precious for sure. All right, I'm going to go around one time and then I'm going to show you my idea, which I may or may not go with. I'm having second thoughts about it now. And if you want to learn more about slow stitching, you should visit Lizzie Brewer. She does a lot of stitching projects. I'm quite new at this. I've been doing it for a short while. I made a little journal. I call it my Just Because journal. And the whole thing is hand stitched. That was a lot of fun to make. And then I started my sketch and stitch, which I was working on in the car until I started my dragon cross stitch. And I put that aside for a short time so I could finish up my dragon, because the dragon's going to become a journal cover. I love variegated thread. Get a little closer to the edge there. It's very relaxing and meditative and creative and intuitive. You can just sort of design it as you go along. Definitely no rules. I think I'll go across the bottom of the stem like that. Now, I could have put some batting on the back, but I don't think I will because it's going on this, which already has several layers on it. A little cotton batting would have made it a little more puffier, but that's okay. We're not going to do that. So now I am going to I know I'm still making knots. I have to learn not to make knots. We're going to practice that. We're going to practice that maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow. I have another doctor's appointment. It's a good day to practice your cross stitching, right? Waiting for your appointments. All right, now brown. I'm going to put this back on here. I got this craft thread, kind of kids use to make bracelets. I got a big tub of it, really cheap at Walmart one day. Oh, do we want silver or white? I don't know, kind of going with the silver. And I think I'm going to use all 6 strands. I'm just going to make a little shiny spot at the top of the apple. Use my needle threader. Okay, let's try the no knot method. I have no idea what I'm doing. The no knot method. Okay. All right, so I think you make a stitch. I didn't even look this up yet, so don't go by what I say. But I think you just lay that down and then stitch over it to hold it in place. See, I stitched over that. So when I pull that, that should hold that down. And I think that's how they do it, something like that. I can stitch over it one more time. I have to practice being neat for my new cross stitch project. There. A little bit of sun on the apple. Now I think just go underneath like that. Instead of making a knot, just trim it. Something like that. Something like that. Now, oh, brown. We're going to do brown. I have a little jar for this thread, and I should take it out of here and put it in the jar because this is for the needles. And I did put some magnetic tape inside the little tin here to hold the pins in place. It's just like watching paint dry. Watching me go around and stitch and stitch. Okay, but this is what I'm doing today. And I appreciate you coming along and keeping me company. So what do we do today? Oh, let's see. Okay, don't make a knot. See, my habit is I want to make a knot. I want to make a knot. I want to make a knot. All right, I'm going to go in. That glue in there is making it sticky. All right, so somewhere this has got to get sewn on top of. I think the stitches on the stem, I'm going to go up and down, and then, oh, I could do a back stitch, right? Let's see. I think when you back stitch, doesn't that lock it in? A back stitch? Somebody said that once. I make some lines on the stem. I know it's going to be hard to see. So today's Tuesday, and I was thinking about doing Trash Trash Tuesday earlier, but I'm like, oh, I got to finish my apple. Yes. And then I have a whole bunch more of October things to journal, but I want to journal some November things. And I got my I voted today stickers. I don't talk about politics, but I always talk about voting. Get out and vote. So that's got to go in the November journal. I always save like a flyer or something that comes in the mail, that says vote for me. And I just save all the vote words on it. I could use that on a journal page. So back stitches, you go one stitch forward, and then you look back at the other stitch and you go back in the same hole. So it's like a line without spaces compared to that. I know it's going to be hard to see, but poke it up, poke the needle through, and then go back to the other stitch, go back in that same hole. It's a little hard here because of that glue I put on it. See, they're just in a line. Well, maybe I'll do one more line. I'm going to start down here. I'm going to try and catch that end that I didn't catch in anything yet. Did I catch it? No. Okay, move it over that way. Okay, make a stitch. Come back up. Go back in the other hole. Now I've got 3 lines there. And I think across the top, I'm going to put some this way, just a couple of lines that way, like that. Okay, I'm going to change thread and get a green for the leaf. Put some stitches on the leaf. Kind of like this one. It's a little bit more yellow-green like that. Don't need too much. See, now I put the needle down here and I've got my needle minder right there. Got to get into a habit of putting the needle in the needle minder. Okay, I'm going to make a mid vein there. Oh, maybe I'll do a back stitch here too. So come forward and go back in the other hole. And come forward and go back in the other hole. Oh, can you hear Mr. Possum yawning? Oh my goodness. We're waiting for his sneeze and we got a yawn. Now, do I want little side veins on there? I'm not sure I do. Oh, it looks okay. All right, let's put a couple of side veins in there. Like that. I think I'll make a bigger one. There. Very simple, very simple. Now I have that end down there and this end up here. What am I going to do? I'm going to make a knot. I'm going to make a knot right there. There we go. We can just do this. I think Janet Nash does this thing where you don't have to put any knots. You just kind of lock it in there. I need to pay better attention. If I want to learn, I need to pay better attention. Okay, we're going to put the needle away. And love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Ta-da! So cute or what? Look at that. I might even want to put it down in this little dip here. See this little stitchy dip there? Line it that way. Okay, the idea I was talking about before was this sticker that said made with love. Putting that on there. But I don't know, it kind of takes away from the simplicity of the stitching on the apple. I think I want to leave the apple just the way it is. Just like that. So cute, right? All right, so we're going to use the Fabri-Tac to hold that down because we got felt on a ribbon and material, fabric. Oh, and sitting here is the little, my little template for the apple because I took a piece of paper and I just wanted to get one the right size to fit in this area. So I sketched it out on a cardstock and then I put that on the felt, traced it and cut it out. That's how I made my little apple. Oh, I love it. I love it. And see, I am marrying the fabric to the paper by overlapping that apple just a little bit. See? And now the paper is married to the fabric because we got that little overlap right there. How cute is that? How cute is that? Okay, get the journal. Get the journal, get the journal. And you see the pocket is the cover of the cookbook, and I did copy this on my printer so you can see all the grunge from my cookbook because it's, like 50 years old. And my giant journaling card. Gonna go in the pocket. I know this journal's gotten so big. Can't get it under the camera anymore. And I'm gonna slide it right in there. Look at that with the apple poking out the top there. How adorable is that? And right on time, it's the morning dove o'clock. Let me get my thread jar. I want to put this in the jar right away. I don't want the cats to get a hold of it. Something they might choke on, right? Well, we're back on track here, aren't we? My birds are singing the right songs, yes. And I've got my journaling card finished. Yay! Love it. I love it. Yes. Well, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I know it took me 2 days, but that's okay. So let me see. I still have to journal apple picking and a whole bunch of other things in October. But maybe I'll do something in my November journal tomorrow. Or maybe I'll finish my Emma journal tomorrow. Or maybe I'll come back to this journal tomorrow. And you'll have to come back tomorrow to find out what I journal about. Thanks for coming along today. Happy junk journaling. Bye-bye. Mottos to live by. Take each day one at a time. One day at a time. This is enough. Do not look back and grieve over the past, for it is gone. And do not be troubled about the future, for it has not yet come. Live in the present and make it so beautiful, it will be worth remembering. Ida Scott Taylor.